Rollins qualifies for the Money in the Bank ladder match tonight, along with Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan. Judgment Day seems to have the same presentation, even without Edge at the helm of it, from what we can at least see. And the pose off. The pose off that main evented the show with Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory was a complete waste of time. It was a complete waste of time, but at the end of the day, that's what main evented the show over a match like Seth Rollins and AJ Styles, which blows my mind. Well, listen, guys, we're going to have some stuff to talk about tonight on the Monday Night Raw post show. Some of it was great, some of it put me to sleep, but at the end of the day, that's your Monday Night Raw, and that's what usually happens. But, guys, you're not going to want to miss any of the action tonight right here on Outside the Brand. This is the only place that you guys need to be on your Monday nights. This is Outside the Brand. We will talk to you in just a little bit. Stay tuned. What is going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining us right here on Outside the Brand. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for June 13th, 2022. I am your host, Phil, and of course, this is Outside the Brand. Thank you so much for joining us on your Monday nights, wherever you may be. Monday Night Raw tonight. We had some good wrestling on tonight's show for the matches that actually mattered, like the Money in the Bank qualifying matches. Seth and AJ killed it tonight in their qualifying match for the Money in the Bank ladder match. And, you know, the tag match with Liv, Alexa, Doudrop, and Nikki, they all did pretty well too. They did. So we had some good wrestling on tonight's show for the matches that mattered, especially for the Money in the Bank qualifying matches. And at the end of the day, with Seth Rollins winning his Money in the Bank qualifying match, he is the only person, and he is legitimately the only person that I want to see win the Money in the Bank ladder match this year and grab that briefcase, because he just deserves it. He deserves it after all the body of work that he has had over the course of the last few months. Hell, even when he just started doing the Drip God stuff, he has been killing it. And if there's anybody else that you guys would really think that could fit that mold of being Mr. Money in the Bank, please leave it in the live chat. Because honestly, I don't think you can really find anybody else that's better than Seth Rollins right now when it comes to the person that should be winning the Money in the Bank ladder match for the men. He's been killing it. He's been killing it. So I think it definitely should be Seth Rollins. And now when it comes to the women, Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan, they qualified in their match against Doudrop and Nikki ASH. They are now in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And honestly, this was not bad at all whatsoever either. And usually you know how WWE works. They usually put these random people in tag matches together and just to see if it sticks. But this one didn't feel like that. It didn't feel like Seth, or not Seth. It didn't feel like Alexa and Liv were just smushed together to make up a tag team. This felt right. This felt right for some reason, and it really did work well. So I think they really did something special here tonight, and they legitimately felt like a legit tag team. So I think that this team should stay for at least a little while. I think it could work. And then the final segment happens. The pose off between Austin Theory and Bobby Lashley. This was a complete waste of time for me tonight, but I do have to say this. I think this could be a great match for the United States Championship. I think this could be a great thing to get the United States Championship back to what it used to be. But then again, I really don't care per se, because the mid-card titles in this company don't mean a single thing at the end of the day. But it could be something to look forward to, especially if it's going to happen at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And I think we will be getting that there at some point. But we will be discussing all of this tonight on this episode of Outside the Brand. I want you guys to sit back, relax, grab a drink, grab a snack, whatever you do to just enjoy Outside the Brand tonight. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us right here on Outside the Brand. Hopefully, somebody will be joining us soon. I think it could be Loff. If Loff is not watching Ms. and Mrs. right now, but yeah. So hopefully he'll be joining us soon. But if he doesn't, that is okay too. I'll be right here doing the entire show as I usually do. So guys, I want you guys to follow us on social media. All the TikTok links are down in the description below, as well as all the other links that you guys can go check out. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at PhillyMatt_. If you missed anything on the channel over the last few weeks, you guys can go check that out on the homepage for you guys to enjoy. So go check that out if you missed anything over the last few weeks. Let's not forget to hit that subscribe button down below, as well as we just hit 450 subscribers, as we are so close to that goal of 500 subscribers by SummerSlam. If you have not already, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below. It is absolutely free, and you guys can change your mind at any point in the future. But come on, I don't think you guys would really want to change your mind now, would you? I mean, come on now. This is one of the greatest podcasts for TikTok and the wrestling TikTok community. Please click that subscribe button today. And also ring the bell. Ring the bell for all notifications. That way you never miss when Outside the Brand is live for you guys. So ring that bell and join the OTB family today. And finally, before we get into tonight's show, I want you guys to go get your t-shirts. Bonfire.com is the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. You guys can go get the new Outside the Brand logo on a t-shirt right now. It's live right on the website there for you guys to enjoy. So go check it out. If you guys have not already, it is summer, guys. It is hot as hell. Go get your t-shirts today and rep OTB wherever you may go. Rep Outside the Brand. The official merchandise store of Outside the Brand is bonfire.com. Thank you guys so much. Let's get right into tonight's Outside the Brand episode for the Monday Night Raw post show. All right, guys, let me just get up my notes here. All right. Clicked the wrong button there. There we go. We are good to go, guys. Let's do this, shall we? So, we are live tonight for another episode of Monday Night Raw, and Miz is already in the ring for his episode of Miz TV. His guest is already in there, as well as he is introducing himself as the legendary personal counsel of the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion, Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman is in the ring. Miz thanks Heyman for joining him in the wasteland known as Kansas City, Missouri. No, not Missouri. It's just Kansas City. That is Kansas City. The fans chant, "You suck," and the Miz says, "I couldn't possibly suck. I'm not from Kansas." There we go. The Miz starts talking about Money in the Bank and says that as someone that has 100% successful rate at cashing in, it's all about waiting for the exact right moment. And the person that wins that contract will more than likely be cashing in on Roman Reigns. Heyman says that whoever cashes in will fail. It doesn't matter what the percentage rates have been in the past. When Roman Reigns is our champion, the percentage goes down to 0. Heyman moves onto Friday night, where Roman will be defending the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship against Matt Riddle. Heyman says that he went to management and told them about a stipulation that could make the match bigger than ever. He gets interrupted by Matt Riddle himself. Riddle then comes out on his scooter and says that he could have sworn he heard them talk about him, so he figured that he would come out there and get the news firsthand. Miz says that Riddle is disrespecting him every week now. Heyman says that interrupting the two of them show that he has a big set of balls. Riddle then asks Miz how his balls are after last week. Again with the balls stuff. Then says the Bloodline sure talk about him a lot. He doesn't care what the stipulation they have for him is. Roman will have to kill him to stop him. Heyman then says that Riddle has a lot of momentum right now, but that is all because of the halted one that was Randy Orton. That's all going to come to a halt on Friday night, and the stipulation is that if Riddle loses on Friday, he will never challenge Roman Reigns ever again for the Undisputed Championship. If he can never, he says that he has a lot of respect for Riddle, but he cannot beat Roman Reigns. In fact, he doesn't think that Riddle can beat his opponent tonight. Heyman then introduces Riddle's problem for tonight, the Usos. Before they can get to Riddle, the Street Profits come out to even the odds. Not a bad promo, not a bad segment whatsoever. You know, this all set up the inevitable match between Roman Reigns and Matt Riddle on Friday Night SmackDown. I think this is going to be a great match for him. I think this is going to be a great opportunity for Riddle to show us what he can do on the big stage when it comes to being a world champion. That little added caveat to the match where Riddle can no longer challenge for the Undisputed Championship as long as Roman is champion, that won't matter because Roman's going to retain the title. Roman's going to retain the title on Friday. I love Riddle. Don't get me wrong. I think Riddle's absolutely fantastic, and I think this is a great opportunity for him. But at the end of the day, Riddle's going to lose, and he's not going to get annihilated. I think it's going to be a great match. But Riddle is going to lose this match against Roman, and we'll see where things go. Roman is just going to hightail it out of there again. So he's going to retain. Roman is going to retain, and then we probably won't see him until SummerSlam, if that. So we'll see where that goes from there. But Jimmy Uso with Jey Uso takes on Montez Ford with Riddle and Angelo Dawkins. Pretty good matchup for what it was. I mean, it's the Usos and the Street Profits in some capacity, so this was going to be a good match regardless. But we come back from commercial break as we are back live with Ford escaping from a wrist lock and lands some right hands. Ford then with a flying clothesline and both men are down. Ford then runs Uso into the turnbuckles, then lands a spine buster. A beautiful spine buster, by the way. Jimmy then comes back with a pop-up spine buster for a 2 count, and the action spills to the apron, and Jimmy looks for a suplex again, but cannot get it. On the apron, Jimmy then runs at Ford and leaps, but lands on the top of the ring post. Ford then gets on the ropes and grabs Jimmy, but gets knocked down with headbutts. Ford then runs over and hits a standing Frankensteiner to Jimmy on the top rope, which looked fantastic. Ford then looks for a from the heavens frog splash, but Jimmy gets the knees up and Jimmy pins him for the 1, 2, 3. So Jimmy Uso pins Montez Ford here tonight, as he should. You know, he is a champion. You got to treat the champions well here. And there you go. So we had that match. It was not a bad match whatsoever. And we got what we got there. We had a video package for Cody Rhodes wrestling through the injury at Hell in a Cell. Then his promo the following night on Monday Night Raw Rhodes was viciously attacked by Seth Rollins, as we all know last week, who we'll be hearing from after the break. So, Seth Rollins, sit-down interview for, Seth Rollins sit-down interview. He was going to explain his actions on Cody Rhodes when we came back. So Seth is back there with Kevin Patrick in a sit-down interview. He says that he meant every word that he said in the ring to Cody Rhodes last week. But Cody is a virus, and he has been plaguing WWE since WrestleMania. Sometimes in life, you have to make the unpopular decisions, and when nobody is on your side, you have to take matters into your own hands. He says that Cody was a danger to himself, as well as everybody else around him. In his WWE, it's adapt or perish. Always, and it always will be. So no, he has no remorse for what happened. He takes pride in what he accomplished. The American Nightmare is officially over. Patrick then asks, what's next for Seth Rollins, as he is looking for Money in the Bank. He had one of the greatest Money in the Bank cash-ins of all time, so why not try to one-up it? Patrick says that in order for Seth to do that, he'd have to beat AJ Styles later on tonight in order to qualify for the match. And if AJ tries to stand in my way, he's going to have to do what he did to Cody Rhodes to AJ Styles. Rollins starts laughing, but AJ then comes from out of nowhere and drops him with a right hand. AJ says that was for Cody, and he leaves. Pretty good stuff here. Listen, I love what Seth Rollins is doing. I think Seth Rollins is doing some of the best work of his entire career. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins, the last time I saw them face off, and I think this is pretty much when everybody last saw him, was, I believe, Money in the Bank 2019, when they had their match, I believe, for the Universal Championship. This was a great match, and this was going to be something great, especially for Money in the Bank. Seth obviously won here, and thank God he did, but we'll see where this goes. I really want him to win Money in the Bank. Now, before we get into this 24/7 title segment, you guys are crazy in the chat right now. What's going on? I hear about Big E. He finally got his neck brace off. Nice. There we go. That's progress for Big E, right? They face each other before WrestleMania too, right? So anytime these two were obviously going to go at it with each other, Seth Rollins and AJ Styles, they have always had great matches. So I was not looking for a bad match by any means. This was going to be a great match no matter where it took place. So this was a 24/7 title garbage. We all know what happens here. It's Becky Lynch. It's Becky Lynch, just Dana Brooke. All this kind of stuff happens. So the match didn't even really happen. Things were happening here. She attacked Dana Brooke before the match could even get started, and then she got on the mic. She said that this is not for the 24/7 championship. She doesn't care about that. This is about respect. Week after week, she has been disrespected despite making the division worth watching, which is totally not the case. So she thinks about climbing a ladder back to the top, but before she can, she has some unfinished business. Becky is attacking Brooke again, but then Asuka runs down and they start brawling. Asuka then slams Becky into the apron a few times, and then they get into the ring and trade some strikes back and forth. Asuka then gets the better of Lynch, and she rolls out of the ring as Lynch is leaving and talking trash to Asuka. Alexa Bliss walks out as they have a little bit of a stare down. as Bliss will be in action after the break. And it is a Money in the Bank qualifying match with Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan teaming up against Doudrop and Nikki ASH. Not a bad match by any means. This was not as long as I wished it was, but it happened. It happened. So Doudrop pulls Morgan out of the ring and does a scoop slam to her on the floor. Then it looks to be hitting a running senton, but Liv rolls out of the way. Nikki then drop kicks Morgan through the ropes, then poses in the ring as the fans boo. Then Bliss jumps on up, kicks Nikki in the gut, and hits her snap DDT and quickly qualifies them both for the Money in the Bank ladder match as Nikki loses to Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan. Again, not a bad match by any means. I actually do like the pairing of Liv Morgan and Alexa Bliss as a tag team. We'll see if this continues down the line. We see a replay of Finn Balor joining the Judgment Day from last week, only to turn on Edge and oust them from the group. We'll hear from the Judgment Day later on tonight. Then, after a commercial break, we had Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel. Good match here. It was a really good match. I think these two are absolutely fantastic together. I think they... Oh, okay. My bad. I don't know what the hell happened to my camera. We're back. So, great match. Kevin Owens doing some of the... Listen. Kevin Owens is making this work, whether anybody wants to believe it or not. He is making this work for what it is. This is a terrible story, but at the end of the day, he's making this work. And, I give all the props to Kevin. I give all the props to Kevin Owens in the world because he is making this work. He is making this shitty storyline into something. And it's crazy to me to be even thinking that, but it's true. So we're back from commercial break, and Owens is in control of Ezekiel. He looks for a senton, but Ezekiel then gets his knees up. They trade punches back and forth, and Ezekiel hits Owens with a mule kick. Zeke then lands some clotheslines and a modified exploder suplex. Ezekiel then hits a big splash onto Owens in the corner and wants a suplex, but Owens blocks it. Owens then looks for a stunner, but Zeke then shoves him off and connects with a leaping knee, and Owens stumbles to the outside of the ring. He landed on the back of his neck, guys, and this was terrifying to even look at, but he was okay to continue in the match. Zeke goes after KO, and they fight around the announce desk. Zeke then attempts a splash to Owens against the ring post, but KO moves out of the way, and Zeke hits the ring post head first. Zeke then rolls back inside the ring as Owens loses it, as Byron Saxton called Ezekiel and not Elias, and winner by countout is Ezekiel. After the match, Ezekiel then gets on the microphone and says that he is not done with Owens by a long shot, but more importantly, he wants to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. He called out his older brother Elias and says that he is very excited to be coming to Raw next week and bringing his guitar with him. Owens then loses it on the stage, screaming that Elias is already here because Ezekiel is Elias. This is going to be great stuff, guys. Listen, this storyline sucks, okay? The storyline sucks. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I just wonder how they're going to pull this shit off, right? We all know, we're not stupid. We all know that the character of Elias is playing this Ezekiel character, right? The person that played Elias is playing as Ezekiel. We know this. But Elias is showing up next week. So how the fuck they're gonna pull this off, we have no idea. It's WWE though. I don't put it past them in order to try to figure this out. Listen, the guy that plays Ezekiel, he's not gonna be able to grow a beard in a week. He's not gonna be able to grow a beard like Elias's beard within a week. Maybe. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know I don't know how the hell they're gonna do this. I really don't. But at the end of the day, Ezekiel is gonna be bringing his older brother Elias with him. And we're just gonna have to figure this out. We're gonna have to figure this out. I don't know what the hell is gonna happen. Is Damian Sandow really gonna come back and he's gonna be portraying Elias? We don't know. We don't know. At the end of the day, this is happening. Elias and Ezekiel are gonna be in the exact same ring together, and we don't know how this is gonna go down. And walk with Elias. Walk with Elias. Ezekiel, who wants to hear Zeke speak. He wanted to speak to the Zeke freaks out there. I don't know. I don't know what the hell is happening. But Ezekiel and Kevin Owens are going to be in the same ring together next week, and I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Up next, guys, we had MVP with Omos taking on Cedric Alexander. This was a pointless match to even, have. Really. Alexander runs off the ropes, but Omos then distracts him, and MVP follows it up with a clothesline. MVP then lands the ball and elbow, and then a playmaker for the 1-2-3. Done. So MVP wins. MVP wants Omos in the Money in the Bank ladder match, which would be fucking disgusting. Don't have him in the ladder match. I repeat, don't have him in the ladder match. Please. AJ is then backstage, and he says that he is one of the things that has eluded him his entire career has been the Money in the Bank briefcase. And he wants it now more than ever. What Seth did to Cody Rhodes was disgusting, and tonight he is going to show Rollins that he should have never attacked Rhodes the way that he did. That he never asked to see his killer instinct. Seth Rollins is then right after, and he was shown backstage, and he mocks Styles for what he said, and he said that he was a coward. Rollins then says that he wants to dedicate his match tonight to the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Then we have the Money in the Bank qualifying match with Seth Rollins and AJ Styles. This is the match of the night. This is the match of the night by far. Everything about this match was great, and I could not be more proud of these two for giving us this caliber matchup on Monday Night Raw. This is a pay-per-view quality match, anywhere you look at it. Anywhere you look at it, Seth Rollins and AJ Styles are a pay-per-view quality match, no matter where you look at it. And this is great. This is great. The right winner came out on top here. Seth Rollins definitely should have won this match, and he did. Seth Rollins is the only person that should win Money in the Bank this year. Seriously. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that either. So, this was great for what it was, and I cannot wait to see what we do inside that Money in the Bank ladder match when it is all said and done. So, Styles goes to the apron and wants a phenomenal forearm, but Seth ducks him and hits a chop block. It looks like AJ messed up his knee or tweaked his knee on the landing of the phenomenal forearm, so he hit a chop block. Rollins then grabs AJ and wants a pedigree, but Styles encounters it into a Yoshiguroshi for a near fall on the injured knee, by the way. Styles' leg is hurt and he crawls to the apron. He wants a springboard, but he climbs up to the top rope instead, thinking that it was going to be a better option for him. Rollins then climbs alongside, but AJ slides between the legs and trips Rollins. Seth then fires back with a buckle bomb, then goes to the top rope for a frog splash, but Styles rolls out of the way and he hits hard. AJ then slowly gets to his feet and wants a Styles clash, but Rollins attacks the leg once he got free. AJ then goes for another Styles clash, but Rollins rolls him up and scores a pinfall victory to qualify him for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Again, great stuff. Great stuff by Rollins, great stuff by AJ. Right winner came out on top here. There's nothing really to complain about here. Nothing at all. Seth Rollins is the only person that should be winning Money in the Bank this year. With the body of work that he has possessed since becoming the Drip God into this character that he is now, with everything that is going on with Cody Rhodes, even though Cody Rhodes is out for 6 to 9 months with the torn pectoral, you can get him, hopefully, you can get him in time for the Royal Rumble. Have Rhodes win the Royal Rumble. And at some point from the Money in the Bank pay-per-view on to the Royal Rumble, you have Seth Rollins cash in, win the championship. You have him win either the undisputed WWE Universal Championship because the titles are unified, or if WWE doesn't want to have the unified titles anymore, you have Rollins cash in for the WWE Championship. You have Seth Rollins win the WWE Championship, thus bringing the WWE title back to Monday Night Raw. And you have Cody Rhodes winning Money in the Bank. Now you have Cody Rhodes winning the Royal Rumble. That way you can have Cody versus Rollins 4 at WrestleMania. It's the only thing that makes sense. It is the only thing that makes sense 1 year after Cody Rhodes made his illustrious return to the WWE at WrestleMania 38. You have Rollins versus Rhodes 4 at WrestleMania 39. It makes all the sense in the world. You have all the storyline in order to get there. Yes, it would have to take a little bit of long-term booking, but WWE can do that right. We have seen long-term booking like this before. It can work. It can work. WWE needs to just get their heads out of their asses and make it work. That's the only way that I want Rollins versus Rhodes for. For WrestleMania 39, you do that for the WWE Championship. You have, Drew McIntyre will most likely take the titles off for Roman at Clash at the Castle. If you want Drew versus something for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, that is perfectly fine. Roman versus Rock does not need the championship, so you have Roman not have the championships anymore by WrestleMania. That's the only way that this should go down. Roman versus Rock, no titles on the line, head of the table, that's a big enough thing. You don't need anything else than that. Plus, that's probably going to be Roman's last match in WWE, along with The Rock. Because Rock's, I believe, 50 years old now. He's not going to be able to do this much longer. Just get this as their final match between those two. Have them both retire, or not retire, but obviously Roman's not going to be wanting to do this for much longer, as he is probably going to go Hollywood. So you do that now before it's too late. Rollins, winning Money in the Bank. You have him cash in. You get the championship. You get Rollins for WrestleMania as the WWE champion, and you have Rhodes makes his illustrious return in the Royal Rumble, and you have him win the Royal Rumble. I know he's been winning a lot, and I know Rhodes has been pretty much undefeated since being in WWE since his comeback at WrestleMania 38. But if you want to blow off to the feud, and if you want Rhodes as champion, this is the only way you can do it. This is the only way that you can do it. So you do it now before it's too late. You do it now, and you get it done. And then once Rhodes is WWE champion, then we can explore other rivalries. Then we can explore other things. You have it in the palm of your hands. I am giving you the formula. I'm legitimately giving you the Krabby Patty formula right now. Okay, you you have all the ingredients to make this work. Look at me. I'm talking in chef terms. You have all the ingredients to make this work. Put them together. Make it happen. You got something great. I don't think I'm speaking rocket science here. I think this is legitimately logical sense here. So we'll see where this goes. Phil Crass's WrestleMania recipe. See, I told you. We then had Riddle versus Ciampa for some strange reason. I thought Riddle was going to be facing one of the Usos, or at least the other Uso from the night that did not get a chance to compete, but it was for some reason Ciampa, because of obviously Ciampa attacking Riddle from last week, and obviously Miz was in that segment. They had their match, the tiny balls, all this kind of stuff, whatever. You guys know the drill. Riddle won, obviously, because you have to have him at least win because he's going for a championship on Friday. So you have that happening. Ciampa then takes his knee pad down and hits a vicious running knee to Riddle. And Ciampa wants the fairy tale ending, but Riddle escapes and connects a ripcord knee. Excuse me. Riddle then goes to the top and hits a floating bro, landing directly on Ciampa's legs. And Riddle drops down and punches him to the mat, then hits Ciampa with an RKO for the win. There we go. Then we had the Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley segment. This was great. The only reason why I'm not kind of elaborating on the Riddle and Ciampa match was because it was so random. It was so random. This really didn't have to happen, but if you wanted Riddle to get a win before Friday, I think this was at least a little bit of an okay and a decent thing to do. But then we had Bianca Belair being interviewed by Kevin Patrick in the ring. And she says that Ripley is now the number one contender for her championship. And it's interesting because Ripley and her had very parallel journeys. In NXT, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, they have been side by side through the majority of their careers. But now Ripley has joined the Judgment Day and she has no idea who she is anymore. She does not even recognize her. Ripley then thinks that she's intimidating, but that won't work on her. Ripley then appears on the big screen, on the big Titantron, flanked by Damian Priest and the new leader of Judgment Day, Finn Balor. And yes, Aiden, he does deserve better. I heard a report later on today that WWE completely just gave up on Ciampa. I wonder why. I'll get back to Rhea and I'll get back to Ripley and Belair in a second. I wonder why WWE continues to just lose faith in these up and coming wrestlers and these roster members that you call up from NXT. Ciampa was one of, if not the greatest heel in all of professional wrestling a few years ago. You remember his stuff with Johnny Gargano back in NXT? He was the greatest heel in professional wrestling at that time when NXT Black and Gold was still a thing, when obviously Triple H was still at the helm with Shawn Michaels, and Vincent Bruce did not even fucking touch that brand for what it is right now. He was the best heel in the business today, not just in WWE, in the business. And now all of a sudden WWE just says, yeah, We have no idea what to do with you, so we're just going to give up. Are you fucking kidding me? Ciampa, he is phenomenal at what he does. Ciampa, he deserves so much better. But with WWE continuing to lose faith in these wrestlers, lose faith in Ciampa, lose faith in Ali. Well, we'll talk about Ali soon, but they never gave a fuck about Ali. With WWE continuing to lose faith in these wrestlers, how can anybody have faith in them? How can anybody have faith in the WWE for building new stars? We are crying for new stars to be built on Monday nights, on Friday nights, and it just does not happen. It just doesn't happen. And Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard, they're down there in NXT. They're trying to make the future. But at the end of the day, who says that WWE isn't going to give up on Carmelo Hayes? Who says that WWE isn't going to give up on a Braun Breaker? Who says that WWE isn't going to give up on a person like a Joe Gacy? This is why I don't watch NXT 2.0 anymore. It's because of people like this. I love those guys that I mentioned. I love Joe Gacy. I think Joe Gacy is going to be great, even though I think they're just trying to make him a rip-off version of Bray Wyatt. I love Braun Breaker. I think Braun Breaker is phenomenal. I think he's great. And I don't even get me started on Carmelo Hayes. I think Carmelo Hayes is definitely a future piece of this company. But who's to say that WWE, Vince, Bruce, and anybody else that has a goddamn pulse back there in the WWE, they're just not going to give up on them? Who says that they're not going to give up on them? This is why I don't trust the WWE. And this is not me just shitting on them. What up, Bob?
Yo.
Give us a little bit. Don't worry, I'll catch you up. We just got done with the Riddle match, and we were talking about Bianca and Ripley segment. But then obviously Aiden said Ciampa deserves better, and then I kind of just started on a rant with Ciampa and how WWE is completely just forgotten about him and, given up on Ciampa.
Yeah, I mean, I got home late, so I didn't see the first segment live. Like I got home like right during the beginning of that, so I thought Riddle was fighting one of the Usos.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
Yeah, I saw Ciampa in the ring. I was like, oh, okay. He got no entrance again, but I mean,
because in the first segment, Heyman is like, here's your problem for tonight, and it was Usos. So I was like, okay, so we're gonna get probably like Jay versus Riddle, fine, whatever. And then it turned out to be Montez. Like, what? Okay. But Aiden here in the chat said that Ciampa deserves better, and I was going on this entire rant about Ciampa and how WWE continues to pretty much just lose faith in guys like Ciampa and guys like Ali and stuff like that. You watch NXT 2.0 every single week, right?
Mm-hmm.
You watch guys like Joe Gacy, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes. Those are the three names that I mentioned before you got in here.
Mm-hmm.
I love those guys to death. I think those guys are phenomenal at what they do. I think Joe Gacy, even though I think they're trying to turn him into a Bray Wyatt, I think he's still good for what he's doing, right?
Yeah.
Braun is doing some great things right now with that NXT championship.
Mm-hmm.
And Carmelo, I think we all know that we both love Carmelo over here.
Yeah.
But if WWE, if Vince, if Bruce, if anybody that has a pulse backstage in that company is losing faith in guys like Tommaso Ciampa, who was at one point one of the biggest heels in all of professional wrestling, is losing faith in guys like Ali, who just wants to freaking wrestle.
Yeah.
and tell stories. Who says that WWE isn't going to give up on any of those guys that I mentioned before in NXT? This is why I don't trust this company.
Yeah, I feel you.
And it might just be like my my distaste for both of those men, but I just don't trust them in order to get them to where they should be. Even though they're doing great stuff in NXT 2.0, the main roster is a completely different beast with a completely different type of audience. And if you're not going to book them in the way that they should, they're just going to flop, and it's not their fault.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, it worries me. I think certain people have a better chance just because I do think charisma gets you far.
Yes.
I think the people that Vince McMahon likes the most are going to go far. I think everyone knows that Carmelo is one of those people that Vince loves. So
Yes.
I assume he's going to go far. Joe Gacy, I'm not sure of. I'm not sure about Vince's love for him yet. Obviously, you got people like Austin Theory who Vince loves, so he's going to be up there.
Right.
It's really going to depend on if Vince likes you or not. You know, I'm not saying he hates Ciampa, but I don't think that he sees much value in a. I think he's like, what is he, 40 something?
Oh, Ciampa, his age. Let me see.
I was like, it's like early 40s, I thought, or late 30s.
Let me see. 37.
There it is. He's about to cross that line. You know, he doesn't want
Yeah.
any quote unquote old guys on the main roster or any roster period. It seems. I mean, people like Austin Theory and Carmelo, they're like 25, 26. I think Melo's 27. Um, they still got they have a really good chance of just staying on the roster. You know, Ciampa just
Yeah.
as good as he is, he doesn't have much room to wiggle here. NXT was his best bet. I do think he should have just not come to the main roster because while I
He
think
wanted to be an NXT for lifer. He wanted to be.
that's the thing. I don't think that he knew what NXT was going to turn into. You know,
Right.
as
Yeah.
far as like it being a polar opposite from what he was there for. You know.
And when Triple H lost all control, that there is no chance in saving him. There's no chance in saving Ciampa, I should say.
And I could. I'm sure me and you could book better stuff for Ciampa at this point. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he's legitimately just randomly attacking people every single week. There is no story with it. They put him in this match with Riddle, who, at the end of the day, yes, it is kind of continuing from last week when obviously he attacked him last week, and then all of a sudden, you guys know the tiny ball situation and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, what Aiden said is just completely true, and that he does deserve better. Guys like Ciampa, guys like Ali, and everybody else in between, they do deserve better, and we'll see where things go from there. I just don't trust this company, and this it's not even me ratting on them at this point. It's just where we're seeing this company going from the people that used to carry this company and the brand of NXT, and now being brought up to the main roster just does not work. It's a different beast.
Yeah.
And it just happens.
He's not in the best spot right now. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Not in the worst, but definitely not in the best.
Right. So we had all that happen. We talked about the Seth Rollins match already with AJ. I thought that was a phenomenal match. I thought that's a pay-per-view match with Seth and AJ anywhere you look at it.
This was the main event.
Yeah, this should have been the main event instead of that god awful pose off or whatever the hell they called it. This was great. I thought the right winner came out on top there with Rollins. I already mentioned it here countless times, and I did an entire storyline breakdown. If you see Aiden's comment of Phil Crab's WrestleMania recipe, look back a little bit during the podcast, or whatever. I legitimately gave an entire storyline as to how this should really go down with Rollins winning Money in the Bank. This was a fantastic thing to do. Just going over it real quick, Rollins wins Money in the Bank. You have Cody come back 6-7 months later at the Royal Rumble. You have him win the Rumble. At some point when Seth Rollins cashed in to become a WWE champion, WWE Undisputed Universal Champion, however they do the Money in the Bank, because it's kind of weird now. Whatever way they do it, you have Cody versus Seth Part 4 at WrestleMania 39, 1 year after Cody's illustrious return to the WWE. It makes sense. It makes all the sense in the world. And yes, of course, WWE has to get their heads out of their asses when it comes to long-term booking like this. But they have it in the palm of their hands. It's right there for the taking.
Yeah, that's true.
I know everybody wants to see more stuff for Cody and more rivalries for Cody other than just Seth Rollins. But there's a reason why Seth also attacked Cody on his way out before surgery. This isn't over. I can't think that this is over.
Well, probably not. The ending is WrestleMania time, I feel.
Yeah. That MVP and Cedric match, we didn't really talk much about that. It was just a pointless thing. Who wants to hear Zeke speak? Zeke and Elias are going to be on Raw next week. I have no idea how the fuck they're going to pull that off. But that's going to be awesome.
I think a lot of people are telling me Damian Sandow is going to do it.
He did retire from in-ring competition, but you don't need to be like wrestling to do this.
I know that.
So they bring him.
He's either throwing us off his trail or he has nothing to do with this at all. So
right. Unless the guy that plays Ezekiel / Elias can grow that beard in 1 week, you're gonna have to bring somebody in.
I don't know how in the world he can do that.
They're gonna have to bring somebody in because I doubt that can happen.
I thought they were just gonna have him cut an old promo, but only his voice or something. But they're saying he's gonna do a whole concert, so he has to be there.
Yeah, he's gonna bring the guitar. He's gonna do everything.
He has to sing. Can they sing?
No, and he's not gonna be able to sound like Elias or Ezekiel because I think we all know things. I'm excited. Before that was the tag match with Alexa and Liv. Qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match.
That was good.
I told everybody here, they usually love putting random people together to make a random pairing for a tag team or whatever. But this Alexa and Liv, it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel just two random people being put together. This felt right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not bad at all. If you don't have anything to do with Liv, go with that.
And with Alexa being this babyface now, obviously, I don't feel like anybody's turning on anybody. So you can use something with this. I didn't think it was bad. I really didn't. And plus, obviously, the Red Winners came out on top there.
That's the thing. I want Liv to win Money in the Bank so bad. I know it's going to I feel like they're in the direction of Lacey or Becky, and both of them make me want to cry, but
yeah.
They already messed up on Liv last year. So you guys a second chance at redemption here. If she doesn't win this one, I feel like a lot of people are going to give up on it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Speaking of Becky, she was going to try to go for the 24/7 championship, but that did not actually came out to be. As Asuka just attacks her for no reason at all. I really want Becky to win tonight. The fact that I'm legitimately rooting for Becky kind of scares me, and it disgusts me in a way because that I've not been a Becky Lynch fan. And scared you too in our group chat. I know it did.
I didn't like that at all.
But But yeah, this is happening. Becky, she was speaking like Gollum again, my little hobbit scissors, my precious.
Yeah.
And she wants the Money in the Bank briefcase. I think we all knew where this was going, and they're going to have a Money in the Bank qualifying match next week between Asuka and Becky Lynch. I think we know where things are going to go from there.
I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I really don't. I'm like drawing a blank when it comes to that topic. I have no idea what to say about that. I don't know.
And then obviously the Riddle and not Riddle and Ciampa. What the hell happened? Oh, the first match was like Montez versus Jimmy or something like that. Okay, that's fine.
Oh yeah. I want Montez to go so far. I really want Montez to go far.
We know he's the solo guy in that group when it does eventually happen.
Yeah, he definitely is. I don't know.
But how far can that solo run go? That's also what I'm kind of scared of.
Yeah. They can mess it up like they mess up a lot of stuff. So
right.
I don't know.
We went from the beginning to the Rhea, then all the way back up because I did kind of want to just get your thoughts on all of that, but it's fine, guys. At least you got lost opinions from all of that. But then we had this little segment between Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. I thought this was great.
Rhea did very well.
She did better. I'll say she did better. I still think that she has a little bit of improving to go on the mic, because sometimes I do feel like she does kind of just, or at least she feels like to me that she's just reading things off and not like totally just genuinely doing this. But she did sound a lot better, like sounding wise, like projecting and really getting her words out there well. But Bianca was in there, and she says that Ripley, she's now the new number one contender. And it's interesting because Ripley and herself have parallel journeys from NXT to the Royal Rumble to the WrestleMania moments. They've been side by side for pretty much all of it. But now Ripley has joined the Judgment Day, and she doesn't recognize her anymore. Ripley thinks that she is intimidating, but it won't work on her. Ripley then appears on the screen, flanked by Damian Priest and Finn Balor. She says that Bianca has no idea who she is anymore. Finn says that they're tired of taking orders, which is why they knocked Edge off their perch. And Priest says that they're grateful for Edge for what he was doing when he invented Judgment Day, but he was a hypocrite. He said that to break free from shackles, that they had to break free from shackles, but painted himself as the leader, so he sealed his own fate. Now they're all equals. Rhea then says that if Belair freed herself from seeking the approval of the fans, she might actually stand a chance at Money in the Bank. Ripley then says that she doesn't have to tell people that she is intimidating. She just is. Last week she had her front teeth knocked out, and she loved it. At Money in the Bank, she is going to eradicate Belair from existence and walk away as a two-time Raw Women's Champion.
Major cap.
You think she's going to retain?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If this is later on, maybe. Right now, nah. They're going to kill it, though. They're going to be a great match.
Yeah. I think this is going to be great. I 100% agree with you that Belair is going to retain here. Do I think beyond? I'm going to choose my words carefully here. I would love it if Belair if Ripley won this championship here. I would love it, mainly because I think with the way that this whole Judgment Day is being portrayed right now, getting these wins under their belt and getting some kind of gold with them would be great to see. But I think what they're trying to do here, it's Bianca Belair for SummerSlam. I'm sorry, but if Becky does not win the Money in the Bank ladder match, because I think she'll advance next week, if she doesn't win, I just have a feeling again that we're trying to do this between Bianca and Becky, and that's not a great sign. We all know that there's so many other people that deserve that kind of an opportunity, especially against Bianca.
Who do you think is going to get cashed on? Ronda or Bianca?
Who do I think is going to get what?
Who do you think is going to get cashed in on, Bianca or Ronda?
Well, I think if it's going to be like I'm thinking like 3 people from Raw and 3 people from SmackDown, whoever wins that would have to only cash in on that championship, right?
I thought someone would just go over to the upper brand because it seems like they can just do it. You know, I thought they could just go over there and like that would be a surprise if a quote unquote Raw superstar went over there.
Yeah,
people on the same side. I assume they would, but I didn't know.
Because what I think that really should kind of be the case here is that listen, I don't think that this should have like these ladder matches should have 8 people on them. Usually, the more people that are in these ladder matches, the more, well, obviously, the more crazy it gets. But at the end of the day, it kind of just creates more chaos in order for people to get hurt.
Yeah.
6 people is a perfect number for this. 3 people from Raw, 3 people from SmackDown. You get those people in there, and you have them go, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Rhea Ripley, she's getting this opportunity at Money in the Bank for the Raw Women's Championship. I would have had Alexa Bliss win that thing over Rhea Ripley because I thought Rhea Ripley could have been a shoo-in for Money in the Bank this year.
Yeah.
And then we can have the Judgment Day be a part of all of this, and we figure out when Rhea could cash in with the Judgment Day and all that stuff happening. Mm-hmm. And then things could go from there. Do I kind of... it's such a controversial take, but like, would it be surprising to see Rhea Ripley just take the championship off of Bianca Belair? I wouldn't think so.
Oh no.
I really wouldn't. And the thing is, if it actually did happen, I wouldn't be too upset about it, but I know a ton of people would because it's like, oh my God, they just wasted Bianca Belair's second reign again. Just like they did the first.
That's your issue. I have no problem with Rhea cashing in, and I have no problem with Rhea eventually winning it. Just her championship runs go on for 2. Her fight to get there never matches when she's there.
Right.
And that also isn't helping the fact that they give her terrible scripts to go out there and do her promos. And it's also not helping that she comes out smiling every week at the same, like, it's just a lot of things aren't going in her favor, and she doesn't really wrestle her best until her back is against the wall. You know what I'm saying? Her best match to me to date was the WrestleMania match against Becky because she absolutely had to win that.
And that was killer. It was a killer match.
See, you put her in this, and I'm not saying she's not going to perform because I still think she's like top 10 performers, men or women in the freaking game now. But she has a lot of stuff going against her, and they obviously, to me, don't see her as someone who should be holding a championship for that long. Do I understand it? No.
I think they think that it's better for her to chase than to actually hold. Which, listen,
that doesn't make much sense to me. With her.
I know it doesn't, and it doesn't really make much sense to me either because I fully 100% agree with you on the fact that she's been amazing since she's been here, right? And It mind boggles me that, like, yeah, sure, a ton of people, when it comes to the chase versus being the champion, it works out for them.
Yeah.
But with Bianca and the way that she has been performing over the last few months, you would think she'd be more over when it comes to being a champion. And I'm not saying that she's not, but I know a ton of people would kind of say that she's not really over as champion right now, and I don't see how.
I think, because I told you during freaking, what was that, Hell in a Cell? The reaction that she got at Hell in a Cell was one of the biggest I've seen her get in a long time, you know? So saying that she's not over, I feel makes sense, but it also doesn't make sense at the same time because I don't think you can judge wrestlers off of the pop they get on Raw. You know what I'm saying? I don't. The crowd half the time is either really hot or really dead.
And then sometimes even WWE still pipes in crowd noise even when we're back with fans.
Yeah, and you can freaking see the crowd, you know, and they're not into it, so they're not into it. But the reaction that Bianca got at Hell in a Cell, that just told me that all the claims of her not being over are false because that crowd was screaming their heads off, and you could see them freaking out when she just walked out there. She got the biggest pop out of the three women that came out, and Becky's freaking over too. They were chanting Becky's name on the Raw tonight. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like you have a very charismatic superstar with Bianca Belair, but they're just not doing it the right way because they're trying not to acknowledge what she was in NXT. They won't let her off of the leash, you know, and certain wrestlers that are in the company need to be let go and need to just let them do what they have to do, but they don't trust her for some odd reason. I don't understand why.
Bianca Belair, I kind of feel, is in the same boat as, and I don't mean to bring up AEW, but this kind of works with their women's division as well. She kind of reminds me of what is happening right now with Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa is obviously not getting the rightful respect that she is deserving as the AEW Women's World Champion. Bianca Belair, she hasn't really gotten the respect that she has deserved since becoming Raw Women's Champion, not even just the first time, but now in the second reign.
Yeah.
Obviously, the two women's divisions are completely different in the ways that we have amazing people over here in WWE, and we do have some great people in the AEW women's division too, but with the AEW women's division, it's just they're just not even booking them in storylines in order to get to where the women's championship could be in that company. WWE has the power. WWE has the star power, especially with Bianca Belair and many other amazing women in that division. But if they don't have the trust in the champion in order to help anybody else get over or help herself get over, then it's just downhill. And that should not be the case. But that's how WWE is doing things right now with the division.
I don't understand why they're not letting her just go, just try it for a little bit, because I think the reason why people don't believe in her now is because her promos seem so cut and dry every week, you know, and promos are a lot of the build up into the actual match. So
it's a lot for the character too.
Yeah, there's only so much excitement someone can build up off of only a match if they're not cutting good promos, you know, or at least not. I don't want to say good, but captivating, interesting promos. You know what I'm saying?
The thing is, Laf, she was not like this in NXT. She was not this cut and dry in NXT.
That's what irritates me. It's like two totally different people.
She had fire. She had passion. She legitimately brought that NXT women's division up from, it wasn't obscurity, but you had the fire and the passion with Bianca Belair. In NXT, she was I don't know if you knew this or not, but obviously there's no like statistic on how many times she's used her hair as a whip over here on the main roster versus NXT.
Yeah.
But we know that ever since she got called up to the main roster in NXT, she's like pretty much almost never used that whip. Use that hair as a whip. She obviously used it against Sasha to win the championship, I believe the first time. I believe that was the first time. And then I believe she did use it against Becky at 1.2. But, and listen, obviously, using the hair whip, that's a heel tactic, whatever, who cares? This was something that Bianca Belair had, like, pretty much as a trademark back down there in NXT. You take that away, you do these cut and dry promos, you're losing every bit of essence of what Bianca Belair used to be.
Yeah.
And that's the real reason why people are so sour on her right now. And it's sad. It really is, because Bianca Belair is great and she doesn't deserve this.
They nerfed her, dog. I don't know why. I don't know when they're gonna fix it, but they definitely nerfed her, and it's not looking good because they treat everyone else differently. They treat everyone else with that respect, and Bianca just doesn't get it, and I don't know why.
Yeah. We'll see where this goes, though. Money in the Bank, it should still be a great match regardless. I think Rhea and Bianca are going to kill it. So we'll see where that goes. Whoever wins the Rollins Championship, they're going to deserve it. Bianca Belair, she's great. Rhea Ripley, she's great. We'll see where it goes. Oh, and from what we are still getting, it looks like Judgment Day is still being presented in the way that it used to be.
You have no idea how hard I popped when I heard the other side start playing again. I was like, oh, God.
It was the other side. I just don't think we heard the obvious Edge part where it says, you think you know me, you never did.
Yeah.
So we still heard Miles Kennedy. Well, I think it was like instrumental part of the song. It was like the instrumental part. But it was still the tune for the other side. So I'm very happy about that.
I'll take what I can get. Just don't give them generic Superstar 4 music, please.
Yes, please.
Don't do it.
Adam Copeland worked very hard to get the other side from Ultra Bridge over here to WWE. Let him keep it.
Yeah.
Does it look a little bit weird with Finn Balor? A little bit, other than Edge? It does. I have to admit, it does feel a little bit weird and a little awkward. But I'm going to give Finn Balor the chance. I'm going to give him the chance.
I'll let it sit for a little bit, see what happens.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to do too. I'm going to let it sit for a few weeks and see where this goes. I think this was it was completely unexpected, and obviously people thought, all right, too soon, not too soon, what have you. I'm just going to let it sit and see where it goes. Give it a few weeks, see where he takes it, and then we'll see where it goes, because I can't judge it off of this 1 week.
Yeah.
Especially because this was only a backstage part, like promo, and not them in front of the crowd.
Yeah.
Because we all know that was a last minute decision. Even if the reports coming out saying, oh yeah, Vince, Bruce, and Edge didn't agree on some things. This was a last minute decision because Cody went down.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes.
Indeed.
Now to the burial part of Monday Night Raw. Not a burial. This wasn't a burial. This match got a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but who the fuck cares about this? Ali and Chad Gable. Why? Why did Chad Gable need to win there? Why? What does he get for beating Mustafa Ali here?
Not a damn thing.
What was this for something? Was this for something? Because I don't think it was.
Probably not.
Chad Gable beat Ali randomly tonight. This made no sense. And just another loss for Ali. The man continues to lose. He's just, is he just going to continue losing on his way out to WWE or before Vince and Bruce call him first? Oh, wait, no, sorry, not Vince and Bruce, because they don't call. It's Johnny.
Oh, God. It don't look like they're going to do anything with him, so. It's beyond me. I have no idea.
I mean, NXT is losing people every 6 months, so what's going to happen with the main roster? They're going to do it every year?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. They look like they don't even want him there.
What are your thoughts on that, by the way? That NXT edict now.
You said what?
That NXT edict about saying, oh yeah, well, if you're not where you should be in 6 months, you're gone.
That makes absolutely no sense
It's
to me.
so disgusting.
I don't understand where your direction is with that. That doesn't seem rational to me in the slightest. 6 months to be
so
great.
bad.
It was done. I don't know.
You know, like, people, it takes time.
Yeah.
To learn your craft, to not only learn your craft, but to know who you are as a person for your character, to know how to cut a promo, to know how to actually have chemistry with people in the ring. It takes more than 6 months. I guarantee you that's why that 2 times guy got released.
Oh yeah, that was like, oh, that's weird. That was just random.
And it was only one person.
It was just random. Like, now what? Now tomorrow it's just gonna look weird. It's gonna look freaking weird, bro. They have a huge storyline going on with them and freaking Legato. So like, why would you just take a major part out of that?
So now Tony's gonna have to find some other guy to align with, or have them align with him and whoever the other guy is. And it's just gonna feel weird because he doesn't fit with the other two like 2 times did, or 2 times, or 2 dimes, whatever. Whoever the guy's name was.
I don't get it, man.
It's so weird.
I do not understand.
This is where the real burial begins. And this sucks because it's Rey Mysterio. I saw your video. Wow. You're like, he got the Booyaka beat out of him.
He definitely got the worst out of that one. They whooped his ass.
Booyaka 619, Booyaka. Rey and Dominic Mysterio got the fucking crap beat out of them by Veer Mahan tonight.
Rey tried his hardest too. That just was not working.
Oh my god. Veer fell to the floor where Dominic is cheering for his father, so Mahan then boots him backwards and then clotheslines him over the barricade. He hit the $1 million arm clothesline over the barricade. Mahan then gets back into the ring, and Rey rallies with some kicks and running forearms, then looks for a flying crossbody, but Mahan catches him with a release sidewalk slam. Veer then applies the cervical clutch, and Mysterio taps out right away. They actually put him against somebody that's, relatively decent. Rey Mysterio, a legend in his business. They put him in there against him. This match was actually a little bit longer than I thought it was going to be, but it happened.
It definitely didn't need to.
No, not at all. No, what are we going to get? We're probably going to get like a handicap match at Money in the Bank. The Mysterio is going to win, and then that's how Veer gets his first loss.
I don't even care.
No one cares, but
that's probably what they're going to do. I just don't care anymore. Because they hyped up Veer for a long time, and I was getting excited, and now he's just stuck with
And
Ray.
you know what, dude? It sucks because he has a great look.
Yeah, he does. Look
Veer
like
has a
him.
great look behind him.
Yeah,
And once he's not like grunting and just, grumbling and legitimately talking like a normal human being, the man can actually talk on the mic.
it's ridiculous, dog.
He had a great look. They had something going on with it. I believe like at first when all this was happening, I believe Ray was feuding with the Miz because the WWE 2K22 cover. And then Veer just shows up. I'm like, all right, this guy's gonna show up. He's gonna. For some reason, I thought he was gonna be a babyface, but I should have never thought that once I actually finally took a look at the guy. And then he attacked Ray, and I was like, oh shit, here we go.
That was subjective for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, like the man has a great look, and I feel bad for him because I know he can honestly do something because he's honestly not that bad in the ring.
Oh, he looked pretty clean to me.
It just sucks because I know he could have been something, and they turned it sour like they normally do with these new arrivals. Well, not new. He got drafted in October and never showed up for about 6-7 months.
Yeah,
and that's what happened.
yeah.
And he wasn't even new before the WWE draft because he was with goddamn Shanky and Jinder.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
It was Veer and Shanky as the tag team, and then Jinder brought him in.
Oh boy.
Eh.
Oh boy, man. It's crazy.
But no, but WWE doesn't think we remember that, right? Veer versus Bobby, that's a lot of meat there, Tromil. That's a lot of meat in that one match.
Yeah.
And if Bobby gets that United States Championship, like people think he will on Money in the Bank.
It's a lot of meat. A lot of meat.
I don't know. I mean, if Veer went after Bobby for the United States title,
That wouldn't be too bad.
It wouldn't be bad, no. But I mean, would we really want another? Listen, this has nothing to do with foreigns or anything like that. But we remember what Rusev was doing with the United States title before, right? Are we going to have another foreign as United States champion, and it's just going to be unbeatable until John Cena comes around again and defeats Veer
For America.
And then we get the United States title open challenge again?
I hate when they do that. They have someone who's not from here get the title, and then they just say, "All right, I hate Americans." Like it's like bro.
Right. See, that happened with Rusev, and then that's kind of what happened at WrestleMania that year. So
there's so much more you can do with that. It's just, I don't know what that one.
Is Cena coming on the 21st or 28th, or the 20th or the 27th? I thought it was the 27th, right?
27th, yep.
Okay, yeah. So it's not next week, but the following week. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting Theory, right? They're doing so much stuff on TikTok with Theory doing John Cena filters and all that kind of stuff. We're getting that match, right?
They better. It's an alley-oop. They better.
I mean, Theory was on TikTok earlier today doing a filter with John Cena faces, seeing which Cena he was gonna be, or whatever, or at least what the caption said.
Of course, he was doing that. Why else would he be doing anything else besides that?
So we're gonna get that match, guys. It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Speaking of Austin and Bobby, we had the pose off.
This right here was wrestling.
Listen,
this
is a complete waste of time.
What?
But I have to say, these two men are fucking jacked.
Bob is the biggest Bob, man. I'm trying to tell you. Theory is going to stand a chance.
Well, yeah, Theory never stood a chance, but you have to admit, the guy's pretty built for his body type.
Yeah. Yeah, he tried. You go out there, you try.
But it's
He didn't do a
Bob,
good
and
job
nobody
behind it.
compares. Nobody compares to Bob.
You can't do that. I mean, it reminded me of Scott Steiner and Triple H when they did theirs like years ago, and it was just freaking
Oh
hilarious.
come on, bro! You know Triple H is built as fuck.
That joke was
Well,
hilarious.
now
That's what it was. It was Scott Steiner versus Triple H, and Scott Steiner was like the Bobby because Bobby just looked bigger than him. Triple H was sculpted, but Bobby's just big and bald and Bob, so it looks better.
I love your descriptions of Bob. It's like big and bold and Bob, so it's better.
I don't know why tonight. That was. I'm always so happy to see that guy. I love that guy, man. That's great.
And I feel like every single time when you're trying to rat on the guy, it's always about his promo work, nothing about his body or the in-ring work or anything. It's just his goddamn promos because he can't speak.
For his life.
He just can't talk.
But everything else is excellent.
You love everything about him. It's just when he opens his mouth and speaks, he sucks.
He needs someone like Booker T to be in there and just talk him up, and Bob just sit there menacingly like Brock used to do.
Was it okay? Hold on a second. I'm trying to think here. Shoot, there was. I don't know if you remember this, but I believe Mark Henry had a manager it was years ago, right?
Yeah.
Mark Henry had a manager. I believe it was Tony Atlas, if I'm not mistaken.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was.
I can't remember. I can't believe I remember that from all those years ago.
George Foreman. It definitely was Tony Atlas.
God dang Tony Atlas. But what I was trying to get to here is that I think for Mark Henry at that time, the manager and Tony Atlas really worked for him. Because I don't think by any means at that point in time in his career, Mark Henry was as good on the mic as he was, let's say, when he was doing the whole thing with John Cena, right?
Yeah.
Because the Hall of Pain stuff really revolutionized his career into what that feud with Cena was going to be about. Because he came out with the salmon suit saying that he was going to retire, and then all of a sudden one of the biggest swerves in wrestling history at that time happened.
That's pretty damn good.
It was so good, right? But what I'm getting to here is that I think we all knew Bobby Lashley needed a manager, right? And that's why MVP worked out so well for him.
Yeah.
And then WWE decides to split up the what was it called? The Hurt Business.
Yeah.
I don't know why I blanked out on the Hurt Business. They split them up, and then that's when Bobby Lashley kind of started going downhill a little bit because he didn't have that mouthpiece.
That's all he
Bobby has all the tools in the world. It's just that he can't talk.
He tried. It just throws everything off.
And the thing is, he's been like this his entire career.
I feel like
at least to my knowledge, I don't think he was able to talk in 2008, 2009, or whenever he was really starting.
He was just there being big.
Like he obviously couldn't talk then, and he can't talk now. So he needs somebody. But they're just not going to do it now because this is Bobby's solo run.
They need to get a girl or something, please.
I think Bobby has a girl.
No, get a girl to go out there and talk with him.
Oh.
Jesus.
I thought you just meant in general. I'm like, I think he has one.
I mean, can she come out there and cut a promo for him?
I don't know who she is, but
if she can go and cut a promo for
she
him,
she could probably talk better than Bobby.
I hope so. Shit. This man Bob. That's exactly right, Mom. Bobby has not aged. Bobby is still 24 right now. Bobby is not aged at all.
He's not aged?
Yeah.
His body hasn't obviously transformed. that his body has transformed into something bigger.
He just evolved into a bigger Bob.
And listen, I give Austin all the credit in the world. You're looking great, kid. You are. But this, there was just no chance.
Bob's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger to when he pops. So you gotta just sit there and watch it. I don't know what you can do.
Do a senior new United States champion at Money in the Bank.
All right, sure as hell hope so. Well, actually, no, I don't, because I want Cena to do it. I want Cena to do it. I think Theory's gonna beat him, but I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be
It's a fuck finish.
very, very close. Yeah.
Either a fuck finish or it's like you're bringing both of them to the brim of defeat, but Theory just comes out on top.
Yeah, the only reason so you can open it up for Cena and him at SummerSlam. It's the only reason. If Cena wasn't coming back, then you have Bobby run through his ass.
And plus, this would be a great win for Theory on his way to John Cena.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, to be completely honest, I mean, Cena and Bob, they had their things in the past, right? I mean, it kind of works. So, I mean, I don't think they really faced off all that much, Bob and Cena, but they did have history.
Like 2007, something like that.
Yeah, 7, 8, around there. But I mean, they did have history before, so I mean, it does kind of link together.
Yeah.
But we had this pose off here. They got a big platform in the ring so that the superstars can stand on. I saw your video. You're like, what the fuck is this? It's like, oh, like, here we go.
I totally forgot they were doing it. I was like, oh, look, little podium thing.
and then the stagehand just stomps angrily across the ring. I'm like,
what's so funny? I was like, what's he doing? I realized he was trying to smooth out the tarp on the ring.
Yeah, he was trying to smooth out the black tarping.
Like, why did he walk?
But he just looked mad, so he was just stomping around.
Wanted to go home so bad.
He's like, God damn it, I'm missing my kids. I'm missing my kids' story time for this, and he's just stomping.
Tarp on this ring.
So they all come out. They're doing the pose off. They hold it the pose down, which makes no sense. It's a pose off, if anything. But Adam Pearce is there to oversee the proceedings of this, and he introduces the Almighty. Pearce says that there are some ground rules, and that this is a spectator sport where they will be taking part in 3 poses, and the winner will be decided by the WWE Universe in the crowd tonight. Theory says that actually, Pearce screwed up already. This is his show. Pearce says that if he doesn't get on the podium right now, he is going to be disqualified. I'm just going to let Adam Pearce talk because that made no sense. It made no sense. Get on the fucking podium, you fucking mark. I was like, Jesus, okay. Theory then does the 3 poses, the double biceps, the side chest thing, and the most muscular. I get these names for these poses. Listen, if there are any bodybuilders in there, fine. And if that's legitimately what they call those poses, fine. But come on now. Those just look like generic ass random pose names for some of the 3 most. They are obviously and absolutely the 3 most used poses for bodybuilding ever, right?
Yeah.
But these just sound like 3 generic ass names for these poses. Unless they really are the legit names for these poses, I would have never known.
I didn't know what I was trying to remember what they were calling them when Triple H and Scott Steiner did it. I didn't know the last one was all right. Most muscular. I was like,
Yeah. The
What?
most muscular.
Bicep. I was like, what the hell?
The double bicep and then the side chest thing. I can never do the side chest ones. It's so weird how they do it.
I
But
don't have muscles like Bob, so I can't even do
yeah,
that.
no, I
That's
don't, and I don't even try to do it either.
nuts.
Because my trapezius muscles they're not. I think Bobby's trapezius muscles, like the traps right here,
Yeah.
they're as tall as my head. They are. They have to
stick
be.
out of his shoulders.
They have to be. So all this happens, and Theory does the 3 poses. Theory then won't stop posing, so Lashley takes the microphone and says that Theory brought this upon himself, so he is just going to embarrass him right now. Lashley then gets on the podium and performs the double bicep, the side chest, and the most muscular poses.
Yeah.
And listen, Theory, again, great body of work, awesome muscles and everything like that. You looked great. But as soon as Bob got on that podium, it was a wrap.
Stop.
It was a wrap. And the thing is, they had like this huge spotlight on the superstars to really emphasize like the actual peaks and valleys of their
He's a tank.
muscular peaks and all that stuff. And it just, oh my God.
It's 247 pounds of pure Bob, man. Can't do nothing about that.
So he does all this stuff. Pearson turns it to the audience, but Theory tells him to shut up, and he's going to ask the fans what they thought. Cheer for me. They booed. Cheer for Lashley. Roof off the place.
I was screaming.
Roof off the place.
Bob! Yeah.
So Pearson announces that Lashley is the winner, and he just gets out of the ring. Theory then tells them to hold on a second and says that there is one more pose that they need to do. He squirts a bottle of oil, baby oil, on Bobby Lashley's face, pretty much his entire body.
Bobby was so damn shiny.
It sounds weird, but they squeezed the bottle of oil and he oiled him up. It's so weird.
Squeezing a full bottle of baby oil on another man is crazy.
And just oiled him up. Why? I thought it was water at first, but then I took a look at the bottle. I'm like, shit, that's baby oil.
I was like, why is he so damn shiny? I was like, what the fuck?
So, I mean, we all know that this baby oil actually happens all the time in like bodybuilding or professional wrestling or anything like that to make them as glossy as they usually are. They're never usually that glossy under the lights and everything like that. It happens all the time, especially in bodybuilding.
Let me get some of that.
If it works, it works. I mean,
Just rub baby oil on my chest and come on. Yeah.
Maybe I'll look more attractive. I just have baby oil all over myself. I don't know.
Try it. Worth a shot.
So he squirts the baby oil on Bobby's face and pretty much entire body. Then he drop kicks a blinded Lashley as he rolls to the outside of the ring. Theory then stands on the podium and takes selfies as official tried to help Lashley with towels. Then that's it. It fades to black with obviously Theory just making a fool out of himself, doing the whole selfie stuff, and Lashley getting wiped off the baby oil with a ton of referees as the show fades to black and goes off the air. It wasn't a bad Raw by any means, but did some stuff kind of put me to sleep or bore me? Yeah, it's kind of a mixture of both. It was a decent show. I think we got some stuff heading into Money in the Bank, which is great. We had some good wrestling in here from time to time. But this ending segment was a waste of time. We got no idea what the fuck they're doing with this Ezekiel Elias shit. And that's it. That's your Raw. And then we got NXT tomorrow, AEW on Wednesday, and then Friday for Friday Night SmackDown with Matt Riddle and Roman Reigns.
That's gonna be a freaking bloodbath on TikTok the next day.
Yeah, and this is going to be an insane week. It already started off to be an insane week with, obviously, I didn't touch on this earlier a lot, but I don't think we're really going to touch a lot on this until tomorrow for Tuesday's talk. But
Okay.
with, obviously, we all know the Jeff Hardy situation. That just needs to be said. I'm not going to dive into everything because we're going to be talking about it on Tuesday's talk and just how things are going to go. Because obviously, from what we are still getting, from what they're still advertising, the triple threat's still on, and I don't like that at all.
Swerve and Lee
Right.
will be in there for the night's over.
Yeah, if what Tony needs to do is they need to take the Hardys out of the match and put another tag team in there, or just make it between the Young Bucks and JE or Jurassic Express.
How much do you want to bet that you're gonna have a Jeff Hardy bar in the acclaimed entrance?
If they do, I'm going to be pissed.
Someone said, I don't know who said that to me today. Someone said that to me today, and I was like, I was so conflicted because I was like, I do not want that. That just
it was on your Twitch. It was one of your Twitch comments.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I think
it was one of your boys in the Twitch chat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember his name. It wasn't Johnny or whatever, but it was one of your boys in the chat.
I was like, I don't know if I'm down with that. It's just I saw
it would legitimately piss me off.
Huh?
It would legitimately piss me off if Max
You saw Revy posted?
Did it? I did.
That one got me. I was like, I don't know what to do at this particular moment with that information. I was like, I don't know if she took it down. I just saw. I was like, okay, wow. You know, that's what I was. That's what I said to you, and that's what I said to you and Megan. In a way, this is a blessing in disguise because Jeff and Matt could have gotten seriously hurt in that match. Now, obviously, the situation is terrible, but it could have been a blessing in disguise, a very fucked up one. But I mean, there's mysterious ways for why things happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Obviously, I wish that wasn't the circumstance because that's a terrible circumstance for Jeff and his family. But it's just there's truth to every joke. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Now, I think her joke was a little not timed the best.
Yeah.
I don't think she timed that one the greatest. I don't think there's that much lie in it, you know?
Yeah. Now that's probably going to be the only topic we're going to be talking about on that Tuesday's talk, because honestly, there's really nothing else in the world of professional wrestling right now that's really more meaningful than this. At the end of the day, we all want Jeff to be better. Getting behind the wheel when you're as intoxicated as he was, at least I should say, because I mean the numbers did come out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's just unacceptable. It really is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because listen, we know he wasn't alone. We know he wasn't alone. Whoever he was with, the fact that they allowed him, not allowing him, but the fact that something happened to the fact that he got in a car, it's just unacceptable. It's unexcusable. It's unacceptable. It should have never happened. And this is what happens because of it.
Yeah.
Jeff has an issue. He has a problem. Addiction is a real fucking thing. And that's what I feel like people, like you were talking about with all of us in the chat, that's what I feel like people don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real fucking problem. These are
Yeah.
real people with real issues, and he has a real fucking issue. No matter what these demons are, and trust me, they're real demons. Obviously, I'm not calling them out as fake.
Yeah.
But you just don't get behind the wheel when you're intoxicated. That should be like one of the first things that you know if you're going to be drinking that night. You know to fucking give the keys to somebody that is obviously of trusting of you, or you just don't drive.
Yeah.
But there's always different sides to these things, and we're going to be talking about it all tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, we're going to be doing things, talking about it all, and yeah, we'll get more in depth of that. All we know is that he has a problem, he needs help, and we're just praying at the end of the day. That's it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's going to be it for this episode of Outside the Brand. We are so close to episode 200, and we are so close to 500 subscribers. We hit 450 today, Lop. I don't know if you knew that.
I did.
50 subscribers away from that 500. If we can get that by SummerSlam, I think that would be absolutely phenomenal. We're just going to have to continue grinding, and we're going to get there eventually. This is going to be a great time, and it's been a great ride so far, hasn't it?
Indeed.
All right, guys. See you tomorrow for Tuesday's talk. We might do it before NXT. We might do it after NXT. I don't know. If I have a guest, we're gonna have our guest. If we don't, we might just do our thing before or after the show, depending on when they are available, and we'll see where things go from there. So we'll see. We'll talk to you guys soon. Well, if you have anything to say before we get the hell out of here.
Nah. Y'all wish me luck. I definitely have a job interview in about 9 hours.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Cool. Wait, what is it for?
Social media managing company.
Nice.
So I'm managing my own social media, so I'll see if I can manage someone else's. See how that
That's
goes.
awesome.
So, yeah, man.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Tuesday's talk, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night,
Yeah.
guys. Peace. Be the ones, and have a good night. Like, there you go.